On the 561st day of the war in Ukraine, the fighting was concentrated in these areas. On Bakhmut front, Ukrainian sources published footage of Russian forces retreating from the town of Klishchiivka. According to Ukrainian sources, because of the dominant positions that the Ukrainian army has in the heights west of the town, as well as due to the massive shelling conducted by the Ukrainian artillery, the remaining Russian forces were forced to abandon their positions in the northern part of Klishchiivka and headed north towards their positions along the railway. In this video, Russian soldiers can be seen leaving Klishchiivka, closely followed by Ukrainian artillery strikes. I can't show the full video here, but I was able to geolocate the position of the Russian forces as they leave the town, and as you can see, the Russian soldiers in this photo are located exactly on the railway north of Klishchiivka, and from here they seem to continue moving north. Now the northern part of Klishchiivka is a grey area with the Russian forces once again forced to fall back on their positions along the railway. Ukrainian forces control about 80% of the town, and during the last 24 hours they have started to expand their control to the areas east of Klishchiivka. As I have reported in my previous videos, Ukrainian forces are now making efforts to penetrate the areas north of Klishchiivka in order to make a final push and take full control of the town. However, the advance of the Ukrainian forces could be slowed down by the Russian artillery, as well as due to the fact that the Russian positions along the railway are not far from the town, and from time to time the Russian troops can organize counterattacks as they have done on other occasions. In general, the Russian forces are now in a more difficult position compared to a month ago, where they managed to recover ground after the arrival of fresh reinforcements. Because now the Ukrainians have a solid control over the western heights, and because some of the best Russian troops that were operating on this front were recently transferred to the southern front, this has greatly weakened the Russian defenses in this direction. Another reason for the weakening of the Russian defenses are the frequent strikes of the Ukrainian drones and artillery over the supply lines between Bakhmut and Klishchiivka, as well as in the Russian rear in the Opitne-Zaytseve-Andriivka triangle, where Ukrainian strikes continue to cause a lot of problems to the Russian army. Further south, according to Ukrainian sources, the 3rd Assault Brigade continued to advance in the direction of Andriivka and managed to clear several Russian positions in the areas north and south of the village. On the Zaporizhzhia front, heavy battles continue in the Robotyne-Verbove sector. The fighting remains concentrated near the fortifications located between Robotyne and Novoprokopivka, as well as in the trenches west of Verbove. On the ground, Ukrainian sources informed that the Ukrainian army managed to stop several Russian counterattacks in the areas south of Robotyne, while east of Novoprokopivka, Ukrainian forces gained ground and cleared several positions of the Russian forces. There are ongoing clashes for the control of the trench line north of Novoprokopivka, with the Ukrainian forces controlling the eastern part of the trenches and the Russian forces controlling the western part. Heavy battles are taking place in this direction, and this is confirmed by the presence of the Russian tanks so close to the trench line. In this video, a Ukrainian drone destroyed an abandoned Russian tank that had operated very close to the Russian-controlled trenches southwest of Robotyne. Clashes have also been reported in the areas between Kopani and Robotyne, where Russian forces have concentrated large numbers of troops. The 65th Mechanized Brigade posted this video showing Ukrainian forces destroy a Russian BMP armored vehicle, which was brutally destroyed from the powerful explosions of its ammunition. This geolocation proves that the western flank remains active, although it seems that we have no reports of battles near Robotyne, which means that for the moment the Russian forces have not been able to advance much in this direction. A few kilometers south of the front line and about 7 kilometers northwest of Tokmak, the Ukrainian army destroyed a Lancet drone launcher using a HIMARS missile strike. Friends, if you like my daily updates, I kindly ask you to hit the like and subscribe buttons, as this will greatly help the channel to reach a wider audience. That's all for today's update. Thank you to my Patreon supporters, and have a great day.